fully acknowledge that this meeting is being held on the traditional territory of the Kalakesa.
Okay.
May I have approval of the
Kalakesa.
agenda as presented, moved by Councillor Dugas, seconded by Councillor Smith. All in favor? We have the minutes of the special council meeting held November 12th for adoption. Moved by Councillor Texmo, seconded by Councillor Smith. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. We have the minutes of the regular council meeting held November 12th for adoption. Moved by Councillor Texmo,
Dorwood.
seconded by Councillor Dorwood. Any errors or omission? All in favor? Carried. We have no delegations. So we have our council action item report of November 12th for information. Any comments, questions? Under new business, we have Kevin Brooks, the division manager of planning, McElhaney, regarding the District of Port Hardy 2024 housing needs report. We had a presentation earlier at our committee of the whole meeting. And part of this housing needs report is the mandatory requirement from the province of BC for all towns, cities, municipalities to do. And we have to do it and publish it by December, the end of December. And it's required to do every 5 years. So in this report, when you have a chance to read it, it's pretty interesting, and it looks at the projected needs for the future, in this case, for Port Hardy, 5 years in the future or 20 years in the future. And what it does, it's based on statistics. So in 5 years' time, we can look at it and go, okay, we can adjust. But it does give us an idea going forward of what we need for extreme poor housing needs, homelessness, suppressed households, anticipated households, rental vacancy rates, and a demand buffer. And so the demand buffer is pretty interesting. So it says that the total projected numbers that are needed, and this is units, and it could be rental units, it could be houses. They don't stipulate what kind of units, but in 5 years, we're going to need 180 units. And in 20 years, 286 above and beyond what we have right now. So it'll be interesting to see how it works out, but it also talks about the needs of looking at the statistics of the population and what's going forward, and they're projecting a lot more seniors over 80 in Port Hardy, which is going to be needing a different type of housing that's more accessible. Anyways, so there came a recommendation from the committee of the whole to accept this District of Port Hardy housing needs report.
What is that recommendation?
Moved by Councillor Dugas, seconded by Councillor Robertson. Anyone else have any comments? Councillor Dorwood?
Sorry, this comment is not about this agenda item, but did we amend the agenda to include the late item?
I thought
No.
we did.
Oh, no, we did not.
Good point.
Yeah, and that's what was.
I know we all intended to.
Accept it. So,
We can do it.
Make the motion on this.
yeah, we'll vote on this motion and then we'll go back to amend
Okay.
the agenda. Thank you, Councillor Dorwood. So any comments on the housing needs report? I have to say it was really informative. The presentation was really good, and so we got a good consultant. Thank you very much. So all in favor? Carried. So perhaps we can go back to discuss amending the agenda to include the late action item, late new business
Yeah.
request for from the Rains volleyball team. Moved by Counselor Tidbury, second by Counselor Texel. All in favor of the amended? Carried. So that would be under new business or under correspondence? Under correspondence? Okay, so going under correspondence, we have from Kara Wilson, Community Energy Champion, Quatsino First Nations, regarding a letter of support for the North Island transmission line. Any comments?
I
make-
think this is quick, sorry. Somebody else said,
Sorry, Counselor Dorwood, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Should I make the motion first or questions or?
Sure, you can make the motion.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to send this letter as presented.
Thank you, and seconded by Counselor Robertson. And then you wanted, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I just want to say the letter, I really love it. It's well written. I like how it includes some of the history and the work that's been going on and the reasoning behind it. So not just a straightforward, letter of support. So thank you to whoever did the writing of it. It's well done.
Counselor Dugas.
Just with regards to that letter, because it was once somewhere at the RD, that we talked about the other day. And one of the communities that wasn't represented on there was Port McNeil.
And Alert Bay.
And, yeah, and Alert Bay, that's right, because you brought that up. Do we need that added to this or not?
So perhaps we could add to the letter, Alert Bay and Port
Alert
McNeil.
Bay's on Monday. Villages of Alert Bay. With Allison's and others.
Well, Alert Bay's on there. Port McNeil's not on
That
there.
makes no sense.
And I know Port McNeil has already voted on it.
And I just wanted to say, yes, we are all familiar with very timely with BC Hydro and what happens up here, so grateful for Quatsino taking the lead here this time. And we would do well to continue to follow.
Yes. Any other comments? CAO Nelson Smith.
It may be just that the letter was written before they'd actually done a presentation in Port McNeil. So us as CAOs, we all were able to receive a presentation. And then it was actually started by meeting with myself and Bonnie from Port Alice. And then in that, we then connected the regional district to Alert Bay and to Zabelis because Port McNeil had already been included in a presentation that was going to be coming. So I just don't think that it was captured in there because I don't know if we'd actually heard back what Port McNeil had said with regards to that. So it could definitely be added in, but that's kind of the history of how this came to be.
Thank you. And because we know that the regional district has already voted on the letter, perhaps we could add the regional district in there as well.
Mhm.
With those amendments to the letter, any other comments? But honestly, I think it's very timely with the power outages we just incurred, so,
Mhm.
Yep.
all in favor? Any opposed? Carried. We have from Anita Vanderpump, Marine Outreach Coordinator, Wildlife Research Division, Science and Technology Branch, Environment and Climate Change Canada, Government of Canada, regarding the Salish Sea Gull Field Project for information.
Too bad they weren't here.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Counselor Dugas?
Yeah, I was intrigued by what it was talking about, and I think one of the interesting ones was there, I don't know if everybody had a chance to read it, but it said on the North Island that they actually put these bands on
Mhm.
10 gulls in 2 different sites, and one band that was put on in 2022, Port Hardy reported on, I guess it's Mandarty Island near Victoria. That seagull was down by Victoria in June of 2024. Same seagull. That's pretty cool when you think about
That
it.
was shortly after pooped on my windshield.
And it said some of the bidders we recorded as far as down in Washington and up as far as Alaska. That's just crazy, and I think that, that poster that you had out, that would be really good to get that sent out to the schools and stuff like that, and get the kids excited about sightings and sending that information off to these people that are doing this, and some of the ones that showed out in that report there that showed the tracking of it, that had the tracker on the back of the seagull, that it showed all the different places where it flew along the coast. Crazy, amazing, absolutely amazing.
The deputy corporate officer,
Yeah, so staff, thank you, Mayor. Staff have been corresponding with Nectar and her team. And they do have plans to return to Port Hardy between January and March of 2025. And arrangements are being made to have the performance come as a delegation to council to present on the works that they're doing in the community and kind of the outcomes of their field project to date and what they're hoping to gather moving forward.
Oh, awesome,
Good.
that's so cool.
That's,
Counselor Dorwood.
Oh, I just echo Councillor Dugas's statements there. Like, it's been fascinating ever since they presented to us previously. And
Yeah, and that's
even over
amazing.
here, I bought the Gull book that they recommended, and it's kind of like ignited a passion for birds, even gulls. And yeah, it's cool. So I like that they're doing the work in Port Hardy. Yeah. So I look forward to seeing them present.
Yes.
and we should circulate the poster.
Counselor Tidburn.
I was just gonna echo what Janet was saying, that they've been here before and
Mhm.
it was a good presentation.
It was
I
excellent.
agree.
Yeah.
And echoing what Councilor Robertson and Councilor Dugas was saying about posting the poster and really promoting people that take pictures.
Yeah, no kidding.
Look to see if there's a band and, report to them about where you see a gull with a band. All right, and, oh. Sorry, just lost my, And then we have from Melinda Dennison, executive member of the Triport Range Volleyball Club, regarding, a reciprocal agreement with the School District 85 and the District of Port Hardy Recreation Department to secure a 10-hour gym time for fifths on Tuesdays and Thursday, 4:30 to 9:30, to support the Triport Volleyball Club for ages 15 to 18. Or under 15, under 18. And we know volleyball clubs are becoming more and more popular and they've been doing really well, so. What council's pleasure? Councilor Tidburn?
I'd like to bring this up to the school board and book those times.
So she had as well added in the letter about requesting gym space at Eagle View on Mondays and Wednesdays
Yeah,
from
so-
4:30 to 8. So do we want to add that in as a secondary request
Please.
if they're open to it?
Yeah.
So moved by Councilor Tidbury, seconded by Councilor Texmo.
Mhm.
Any other comments?
I think it's great to see our youth involved.
Mhm.
And if we can support it. should
And we're
have to
winning.
do that.
They're winning down island.
Yeah, they're doing good, they're doing great.
Okay, any other comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. We have the draft minutes of the Bear Smart Committee meeting held November 12th for information. Any comments? Councilor Smith?
Maybe to the cougar that's been sighted in our community and just a reminder to please keep your pets inside. Small children, keep them safe inside as well. And if there's no food, then the cougar will hopefully carry on. And please use the RAP line just to help with the sightings, so we know where the cougar is and what the cougar's doing, so. Other than that, no other comments, just please keep safe and keep our wildlife safe.
Thank you.
Right.
So I don't know, I know that the conservation officer came in to talk at the district's office. Maybe our CAO would like to speak to that.
Yeah, so the sightings that they want to see are the ones that are potentially problematic. So that would be daytime sightings of cougars. It is natural to see cougars, obviously, in the evening. It is unnatural to see them during the day. And especially if they happen to be hanging around in yards or walking between buildings, that could cause some interface issues that may become problematic.
Thank you. All right, so then we have under staff reports, Louisa Bates, Deputy Corporate Officer, regarding committee and external appointments for 2025. So I know that under the council appointments, I made a slight error. And for under VinCap, it should be Councillor Dugas. And under Vancouver Island North Training and Attraction Society, it should be Councillor Robertson with the alternate being Councillor Dugas. Councillor Robertson,
Is this what I did?
yes, we can give you some.
So folks will have heard, and I'm saying this because I am and have been on the Ferry Advisory Committee for the North Island and Central Coast or Ferry Advisory Committee for a few years. And I had received an email which I sent to council. I don't know if you've seen it yet. Yesterday, and it was on the news today, that BC Ferries has decided to collapse and disband all of the ferry advisory committees. I personally don't agree with that decision. I think it takes the ferry advisory committees provided a voice for smaller coastal communities, that particularly communities that are ferry dependent. We're in a bit better situation in terms of we're not ferry dependent in the same way, but certainly other groups on our committee, Bella Bella, Bella Coola, and communities in Haida Gwaii. It was an opportunity for them to express concerns with service levels, with scheduling. Scheduling is always a big deal with these. Anyway, it takes away a voice. And if I thought that there was going to be a consultative process to replace this, I would have hoped to have seen it when they decided to collapse the ferry advisory committees. I have not seen that at this point. I encourage everybody to read the email from BC Ferries about that. So I believe that we need to pursue this. If it doesn't, it doesn't need to look, consultation doesn't necessarily need to look exactly like the ferry advisory committees, but it was a process that seemed to work. And it seemed to inform BC Ferries of concerns for each of the runs, particularly the smaller coastal runs. And in fact, I would note that the current BC Ferry Commissioner was a longtime member of the South Island Ferry Advisory Committee. And so came to that position through the Ferry Advisory Committee. I think that we need to pursue this a little further and talk to the Ferry Authority, BC Ferry Authority, a former Gary Kuhn from Prince Rupert is the representative for our area, and former MLA Claire Trevena is also on that. So we can pursue it through them. I think you need to talk to the BC Ferry Commissioner. And I believe it's also something that we need to take to AVICC. AVICC is a group of coastal communities. This affects coastal communities. It's something that I think that we will not be the only community taking this issue to ABICC, so. Needless to say, I think there will be a number of communities who are quite concerned about losing a voice with BC Ferries, particularly in ferry dependent communities. So there's a few things that we should do, and I believe we can pursue them. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm also thinking we should bring it up with the regional district.
Good point.
Mhm.
That's true. I mean, the other ferry advisory committee in the area is the Tri-Island one between Cormorant Island, Malcolm Island, and Port McNeill.
So do you want to make that a motion or a recommendation?
I will make it a recommendation, but I don't have a motion prepared because it's just a very emergent issue. So I will try and bring a motion to the next.
And
As long as somebody reminds me.
Deputy Corporate Officer, do we need to vote on the committee and external appointments? So may I have a motion on as amended? Counselor Tidbury, seconded by Counselor Dugas. Any other comments? All in favor? Carried. We have our bylaw number 1177-2024 zoning amendment bylaw for adoption. Moved by Counselor
So
Tidbury,
moved.
seconded by Counselor Dorwood. Your CAO, did I see your hand go up? Any comments?
Sorry.
All right. All in favor? Carried. We have our pending bylaw number 1164-2023 amendment to zoning bylaw 1010-2013. Carried forward. Council reports. Councilor Dorwood.
Well, hello from New Zealand. I was able to be within service and attend the draft transition plan regarding the aquaculture close containment ban in 5 years. And yeah, it's hard to wrap the head around all of what they're really looking for. I think, yeah. Because I think we're hopeful that there's still some sort of ocean-based, at least I am, that there's still some sort of ocean-based salmon aquaculture going to happen. But it's hard to envision it based on some of the things that were said at that meeting. So then to, try to move forward to the next step is hard pill to swallow, but I know we have some more meetings lined up, and thank you to those counselors that are able to attend them, and I hope to be able to as well, but that's it for me.
Thank you. Counselor Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Not too much to report. November 13th had a Fort Hardy Heritage Society meeting, but we didn't have quorum, so it was more of an impromptu kind of chat. And so next meeting will be next month. More to report then. That's it.
Yeah. Counselor Texmo.
Not much to report as I was away for a bit until I got called back to help with the storm power line restoration. And just want to say thank you to all the district workers and everybody and that helped out to get everything back online. I know so many, Jason highlighted his crew. It's great. I love seeing that. So many people worked around the clock to make it happen. It was an absolute disaster of epic proportions. And then an individual I really want to highlight, and I spoke his name earlier, is Kyle Burns from BC Hydro, who was our only local crew member who absolutely worked his butt off to get as much back online as he humanly could. So I just want to publicly thank Kyle for that. And that's it for me.
Counselor Tidbury.
Weekend I was in Vancouver, Grey Cup.
Nice.
So I enjoyed that.
Go
Uh,
Bombers, go.
And then we had the power outage. I started the generator up at the senior center, and we basically had it open for the members to have coffee and just a keep warm kind of sort of place, not great heat in there. Then, we had Ryan, Turnbull,
Mhm.
okay? Weekend Wisconsin Society. Had, on the Monday, I planned to go to the CBLAC meeting in Port McNeil, but, I somehow forgot about an emergency planning meeting on that day. And, we talked of a number of things. One of the things, we did was, have done is a tabletop, emergency planning for the marine, environment. And, we got some of the kinks out of the way. Again, it's the old, story of communications and stuff like that. That, it seems to always sort of boil back to communications. And we're gonna have another one of these, tabletops in May. And that's when, it ties into our, emergency week. Talked about the emergency preparedness, campaign. And, that's an ongoing thing too. That same day, I had a transit meeting down in Port McNeil, so I rushed basically from here down to Port McNeil. And, some of the things I've learned, or something that's coming down the line, is the hospital vans, are going to be used as something else, but not for, the public. There's a couple of contracts or a contract out for, hospital transportation between Port Hardy and Port McNeil. And I brought up the question of whether this transportation would be, for after hours, availability. And I was assured it was. But, the little kinks on how it's going to perform, was up in the air. We talked about, the, transportation down island for non-emergency, patients, going, between the hospital or from the home to a medical appointment or a doctor's appointment down island. And that's another contract that's, being let, as you know. It was done by Sacred Wolf, and Sacred Wolf have, not renewed the contract. And so, there's a outfit out of, Courtney and an outfit out of Nanaimo that are bidding on, the contract. As well as, we talked about the people coming off the ferries from Sontula and Alert Bay. And, the little hiccup there was that they got, one time they had to come up to the bus stop and get on the bus there, but now we're gonna go down to the dock. On the transit side, the, route between, Port Hardy and, Was will be operating this winter. And we're kind of got little hiccups with the route between, Cole Harbour and Port Hardy. And it's basically a number of stops on that route. I think that's me. Yeah, I'll have a quick look. Oh, I did a hamper fund. That's, at the end of the month here, that, we'll have the numbers and that'll be going out
What's the last day for people to put in an application?
the end of the month, the 30th, think it is.
And if people want to donate to anything,
They can, toys, we're only looking for toys, no food.
Mhm.
Yes, we like that, we like that. You can make the check out to the Gazette Happy Fund, you can, and give it to myself, or you can take it up to, what do they call it, Smiles now?
oh, up to, Essentia.
I said-
Yeah,
And I think they also have an online form.
Yeah.
Where you can do it
Yeah.
online too, or by e-transfer.
yeah. Other than that, it's going as usual.
Counselor Tidbury, Counselor Dugas.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I had the pleasure of being with the mayor and council at the raising of the Métis flag at our, at our hall here. And it was a beautiful day. And it was really nice. And there was quite a few people there representing that, our Métis groups here in our North Island. And it was, yeah, it was pretty neat. I liked it. And some of the, they were talking about the belts and the different scarves and stuff like that. They were representing the belt and give us a little history about that. So that was pretty neat. I really enjoyed it. With the North Island Seniors Housing Foundation, we've been obviously continuing on our conversations with the stakeholders. I had an opportunity to go to the Pug Youth Health Center and had a meeting with them to talk about our elder and seniors housing project coming up. And they seem to be very, very supportive of that, application that we're gonna be putting in here, hopefully in the new year. And they were gonna send us, some of their wish lists with regards to some of the things that we should be considering when we have elders and seniors housing here. I was with the mayor at, about one of the regional district board meeting. I guess the most important thing that's going on down at the RD is they got staff shortages and they're still taking applications in on a number of positions down there. So they're hoping that they're going to be, better applications come in. They've sort of gone out and reached out in different avenues and they're getting more applications in now. So it looks, hopefully in the new year, it looks pretty promising. Unfortunately, on November the 20th, due to the weather conditions, our Dev forum was canceled at Seven Hills, unfortunately. That kind of sucked. And there was actually some people that came up from Down Island and they were staying at the quality of this hotel. So there was a little bit of a group that sort of got together and talked about different things. But hopefully we'll be able to get something off here, hopefully in the new year, do the same thing. And I was also at that meeting with that Councilor Tidbury mentioned with Ryan Turnbull, the parliamentary secretary, talking about the fish farm industry. And Councilor Doherty mentioned it too. And we got some upcoming meetings with them as well. They're gonna be coming in person, which is gonna be great. And we're really looking forward to that conversation. So, and that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. That was very quick. That was under 2 minutes. Counselor Robertson.
A break. 2 minutes.
I'll do the time.
That's what I watch.
So as not to repeat, I was at the BC, with the parliamentary secretary from Ottawa, and his name I can't remember, the BC Salmon Aquaculture Transition Task Force. And that is arriving on our doorstep. So the discussion, as Councillor Doe would say, continues, and we will, beginning in December, continue to talk to them. I was also at the Maple Flag raising. It was good, and I come from Manitoba, and I know that at the Ledge in Manitoba, there's a proud statue of Louis Riel, so there we go.
Yep.
I was also at a Table of Partners meeting. I think Councilor Tidbury was there as well. I think we're getting that straightened out. But I just with the power situation last week. Thank you, Brian, for pointing out the people that thank people for, yeah, folks who work for Hydro and town guys that came together. Also, actually, and I'm saying it because I wanted to also thank a group of folks that came together and went to work at Save on Foods and kept the store open. It was, you know, it was, they did that through COVID, and they also did that in the power. So particularly I was at the MAP meeting for the last 2 days, Monday and today, this morning, which is the Marine Planning Partnership, Marine Plan Partnership. And it's kind of informed the Coastal Marine Strategy, which is a document that we don't actually often see, but which has a lot to do with what's going on in the coast. Planning and conserved areas, protected areas. And it really is a partnership, and it's interesting hearing all of the different voices at that table. And our zone in the Marine Plan Partnership is North Vancouver Island. There's also the Central Coast, Haida Gwaii, and the Northern Coast as well. So it's interesting work that it does have some impact on our area. And as I have said, there's sometimes missing some voices at the table as well. So yeah, no, I won't continue on that. Thank
You made it. Good job, Brett.
you. No rim.
So it's at a number of the meetings that everybody else was at, so I won't belabor them, but one thing I will say is to thank you to the BC Hydro. Kyle, who was here locally, people that were on holidays, but BC Hydro, because of the forewarning of a cyclone bomb, had crews on the island and were ready to go to work 24/7 and get people back to work as quickly, or power back as quickly as possible. And kudos to our operations team. So our director of operations mentioned it at a previous meeting. We've heard it here, but they were out there working, making sure that the town had water, that the town could flush their toilets, that we could operate, some of it's in the dark, some of it's our lights are on because we've all got generators, but I think it really highlights the importance of having a 3-day supply. They need a 3-day emergency supply, and we hear it over and over again, but just with the change in weather conditions, this is just the beginning. So have a 3-day supply, have more blankets available if you don't have a generator, and just be ready. But thank you to our director of operations and his team. Thank you to BC Hydro. Thank you to everybody that came out and worked. Save On, Co-op store. I talked to our new MLA Kindy, who came up for the economic forum, and they got here just as the power went out. So then in the morning, they were up early thinking, okay, maybe we'll go home, or what are we gonna do? But we better get gas. They stopped at the co-op, and they said everybody was smiling and joking. It was such a small town community come together and help everybody out. And so thank you to our community. Very little complaining because everybody was in the same boat and helping everybody out. So thank you. Which then I went to the Chamber of Commerce Business Excellence Awards, just thanking all the businesses and organizations in Port Hardy that work so hard to make our town special. Whether it's from the volunteers, the youth, the nonprofits, the Tex Electric, who won an award. It's to everybody, whether you're recognized or not, whether you're nominated, whether you won. It's because of what you do that's of enormous importance to our community, and it's your hard work and commitment that make Port Hardy better. So thank you to all the committee, or all the people that were nominated, or organizations nominated, but as well to all the ones that weren't nominated. Next year, hopefully you will be, but if you're not, you're still wonderful, and it's really important. So the Business of the Year award, it's from, or the President's Award, they call it, and they pick, and then it goes to a committee to see if the committee wants it. So this year it was the North Island Crisis and Counseling Center. They did a little video just kind of highlighting their organization, and they do have 24 programs and 60 employees. And the video was amazing. So if you have a chance to view the video, it's really, really it's a really good video. It's only about 3 or 4 minutes long, but, it's very impactful.
Is it on their webpage or something?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're gonna release it actually, but you could ask about it. It was very good. The other thing, I've been very involved with, it's now a culturally supportive housing society, and went to dinner with the landlords and, just talking about the, Sonala and their, case of culturally aligned integrated support for renters and how the renters can, and, the landlords work together, but as well the support that comes from the society to make sure the tenants, have the best relationship with landlords. So that was really good and a really good start. And let's see, I went to the Legion fundraiser. I left before karaoke, just because I'm not a singer, and people kept saying, have you picked up your song? And I said to my husband, I think we need to leave. But it was a lot of fun and it was very well attended. And, the last, I think we've got one more volunteer that won a volunteer of the year award. We recognized the other volunteers here, the other day, and, it was really nice, and having the group together and saying the words that we said at the volunteer breakfast and saying them here and recognizing them. It's, really special and really nice. And Councillor Texmo shared something on social media about Santa letters. Can you remember?
Yes.
So this is one where we're bringing up the phone. So we all know the post office is on strike. However, we all know how important it is to get Santa letters sent to Santa. So do you want to read that?
Yeah, so I got this from Brittany Pilton, who works at our local post office. And she asked us to share. It says, "Hi friends, us posties are trying to figure out a way to get the word out that we are doing Santa letters still. Even with the strike, we do them on our own time regardless. We will be making our own little letter box to accept letters. Instead of dropping them off in the drop boxes like normal, drop off times will be 8:30 to 4, and we ask that you make sure your return address is on the letters or else you won't receive a letter back." So,
And I just thought that's pretty nice of
Yeah.
people that are striking, but realizing how important it is
Absolutely.
to get
That's
the
awesome.
Santa's letters sent and received by Santa.
That's all.
Councillor Tidbury.
I failed to remember, on the 20th there of the blackout, how the fire department went to Cole Harbour and, on the Cole Harbour Road and rescued the ambulance, that was stuck between, trees.
Oh,
Oh, no.
So,
I know and we should do a shout out to the Port Hardy Fire Rescue
yeah,
as
they
well.
did,
For all the work they did. We know that different trees caught fire, we know poles got fire, and they were very, very busy. And, so thank you for reminding.
Thank you.
All our emergency crews, yeah.
Yeah, all our emergency crews, and, yeah,
and they battled to open the doors.
or to close them,
Right.
yeah. Okay, so that comes us to the end. We don't have a notice of in camera. So motion to adjourn. What's your text mo? Anyone online aside from Janet? Is there anyone else online? Didn't see anyone else there. Councilor Dorwood and